Okay, folks, it looks like we've definitely achieved a quorum. We've got a few more folks joining, but oh, I think we should get the show on the road here. Just give me a second. I will post our agendas in the chat. Okay. Okay, folks, let's call the meeting to order. It's 7:05. Welcome to the monthly meeting of NPU-F. Today's December 17th. My name is Tom Schwab. For those of you that don't know me, I am the vice chair of NPU-F. I also handle the alcohol licensing. I'll be your meeting host this evening, and I want to thank Kay Stevenson for agreeing to be our co-host tonight. Of course, the members of NPU-F, we've got Debbie Chopchinsky as our chair, Catherine King is our secretary. She'll be taking notes, and as a reminder, we are also recording tonight's proceedings. Kay Stevenson and Susan Canellis are public safety co-chairs. Wiley Somerville is the zoning chair. Rich Sussman handles parks, trees, and the environment. Marla Johnson is our communications chair. Jason Holmes, education chair. Katie DeWeaves is our APAB representative. And of course, Doug Young is our City of Atlanta planner. A couple of notes on the meeting logistics tonight. We have a couple of agendas. We have our full agenda. Again, I posted that in the chat. That's the one that's going to have all the phone numbers at the top. We also have a second agenda. We call it the consent agenda. That's a subset of the full agenda. What we do is we group some of the simpler applications that meet the requirements together. We vote on them as a bundle. So if you're here tonight for an application and we don't cover you when we go through the consent agenda, don't panic. We're going to get to you on the full agenda, which comes a little bit later. And both of those agendas are in the chat, and our full agenda is also posted to our NPU-F website. We'll be voting on several items tonight, so a few comments on how we vote and who can vote. So all residents of NPU-F may vote unless you've got a financial interest in a particular application, but you can still vote on all the other applications. So if you're not an NPU resident and you're a business owner, you may vote if you've met the requirements as described in our bylaws. And you can find all of those at the bottom of our full agenda. We're going to ask that you refrain from voting if you do not live or own property or a business within NPU-F. When we do vote, we're going to use the raise your hand feature for voting. I'll talk more about that in a minute. Also, we use Robert's Rules of Order as our parliamentary guide, but we take a somewhat relaxed view. So for most routine matters, I might just ask if there's any objections or for unanimous consent. When I do ask for a motion, I'm going to recognize the first two people that speak up, the person that makes the motion and the person that seconds the motion. Those are the only exceptions to what we call our raise your hand rule, and I'll talk more about that in just a minute. Okay, a couple of key points on Zoom real quickly to refresh those of you that may not use it too often. The first is the participant list. That's the list of everybody that's here at the meeting. Your name's going to appear at the top. We're going to ask if multiple people are using the same device. Let's say two people at home sharing a computer. We want to see both of your names listed in that participant list. That'll be especially important for when we vote. We need to count both people's votes. So you may need to change your name. To do so, you can click more next to your name in that participant list, and you'll see an option to rename yourself. So please do so it's accurate. We can see who's there. If somebody else's name is in your window, likewise, please correct it. And if you're logged into multiple devices, we need to take your name off one of them because if we see duplicate names, we're not going to count either vote. And also the host may rename you to make the tallying a little easier as well. Another Zoom feature is that mute button. That's an important one. It looks like a microphone, generally down in your lower left screen. You may also see it next to your name in the participant list. Please remember to keep yourself muted unless you're speaking. And then when you're called upon, please remember to unmute. Okay, I mentioned that raise your hand feature. We're going to use that anytime we vote for an ordinance or an application, and anytime you have a question or comment, we're going to ask you to raise your hand until the person that has the floor calls upon you. So again, you're going to find that raise your hand feature under the reaction tab at the bottom of your screen, or it may just say react. You open that tab, you'll see a bar that says raise hand. That icon kind of looks like a palm, something like this. Make sure you get the right icon. Sometimes people give a thumbs up. If you do that, it won't count for your vote. And likewise, that feature will go away after a couple of seconds, so you lose your place in queue if you're trying to ask a question. Okay. Uh, Speakers, I will call on you in the order with which you raise your hand. So just once you get in that queue, I'll get to you. When you're speaking, we would ask that you turn your camera on. This is especially important if you're presenting an application. We need to know that the person speaking is in fact the person representing that particular application. So we ask for you to turn your camera on when you're speaking. Otherwise, if you want to have it off, that's fine. Some of you may be dialing in via phone. In other words, you're not on Zoom with a screen. If you're doing that and you want to raise your hand, press *9 on your phone. That will raise your hand at my end. I'll be able to see it. Likewise, if you're phoning in, uh, you'll need to unmute the Zoom feature using *6. That will mute and unmute your line. That's in addition to any mute feature your phone may have. Lastly, the chat feature. It's a great place to send messages. You can send it to everybody that's here in the meeting or a particular individual. Um, I posted, as I mentioned, all the agendas and the meeting minutes for last month in the chat. It's also a great place to put your contact information so people can find you after the meeting. If you want to save all the valuable information in the chat, go to that chat window. You'll see three dots in the upper right. When you click on that, it will give you the option to save the chat at the end of the meeting. So please recommend you do that if you want to keep all the contact information. Okay, meeting protocols. So please try to keep your questions germane to the topic at hand. If you do have a random thought, you can put that in the chat and we'll try to circle back to that comment at the appropriate time. Or you could bring it up during new business under agenda item number 12. We ask you to be respectful of everybody. We're all neighbors here. Sometimes people can be emotional on a particular topic. We ask to not let that emotion morph itself into a snarky or sarcastic comment. I'm going to try to do the same. To use Debbie's words, this is a snark-free environment. We're going to ask you to only speak once on a given topic in the interest of fairness to everybody. So speak once unless we ask for clarification or a question on a previous remark. And likewise, we're going to limit your comments and questions to 2 minutes per topic. That's in order to be fair to everybody, give everybody a chance to speak, and to keep things moving. If we pick up background noise, or somebody's interrupting the meeting consistently, we may need to mute your line. So please mute it yourself so we don't have to take those kind of measures. But we do want you to speak up. I mean, the whole purpose of the NPU is to have your voice heard. So we want to hear from you whether you're for an application or whether you're opposed to an application. So don't be shy, but as I mentioned, please try to be brief. All the comments that you put in the chat will also go to the city for review. And if I'm moving too quickly, I tend to speak rather quickly. Please raise your hand. I'll be happy to slow down or repeat something or explain where we are in the process so you can follow along. And the last comment I want to make in my opening comments is that your voice counts. But remember, any vote that we make here tonight is only a recommendation to the city. The final decisions of all the applications we're going to hear are ultimately made by a City of Atlanta board or city administrators or by the city council. So we encourage you, as I mentioned, to express your opinion here tonight, but also express it directly to those other bodies as well that make up the city government, whether you do that in writing, with an email or a phone call, or to attend a public hearing. It's important to get your voice out there through all of those methods. And if you feel discouraged that we vote a certain way and maybe the city body doesn't vote the same way, don't be. We've had a real impact on city decisions, and it's important to let the city know that NPU is paying attention and that our voices are being heard. Okay, that is it for my opening remarks. Our first order of business is to adopt the agenda. We've got a brimming agenda tonight, a lot of items on it, especially for the month of December. I'll try to move quickly, and hopefully we can address most of the key voting matters on our consent agenda tonight. As I mentioned, the agenda is posted in the chat, and it's also been uploaded to the NPU website. So, are there any additions to tonight's agenda? Anyone here that feels something should be on the agenda that's not there? If there is, please raise your hand using that raise your hand feature under the React tab. All right, I'm not seeing any. Are there any objections to adopting tonight's agenda? If you object to adopting the agenda, please raise your hand. Okay, not seeing any. The agenda is adopted without objection. All right, so moving along, item number 2 on that agenda is the approval of the minutes of our last month's meeting. So the November minutes are now ready for review. Again, I posted those in the chat, and Marla has put those up on the NPUF website. So may I have a motion to adopt the November minutes?
I move to adopt the November minutes.
Was that
And
was that
Kay will
Katie?
second. That was Katie, and I'll second. This is Kay.
Thank you, Katie and Kay. Is there any objections to adopting the minutes? All right, seeing none, the motion carries without objection. The minutes of last month are official. Okay, agenda item number 3. I've got a few announcements. First of all, I mentioned, I think it was last month, the Atlanta Jingle Bell Jog that was going to be in Piedmont Park. That event, unfortunately, has been canceled. So if you were looking forward to that, apologize. That one is off the calendar. But we've also talked about another race called the Polar Opposites Peachtree. I have an update on that. That one is January 3rd. There's been a change to the street closures on that one. So they are now going to close all the lanes on Monroe between, is it Canuga and Virginia? So right around that 10th Street interchange, all the lanes will be closed on January 3rd. So I encourage you to avoid that area on January 3rd if at all possible. Got another race coming up. It's called the Spring Fling Mile and Dash. This one's in Piedmont Park. It's not until May 16th, though, so we got some time. If you want some more information on that, you can reach out to, is it Karen Lamphere, I think it's pronounced, of the Atlanta Track Club. And lastly, in the way of announcements, Atlanta Zoning 2.0. We've talked about this before, but for those of you that are not familiar with it, it's really a complete overhaul of the City of Atlanta zoning code. So the December 25 Atlanta Zoning 2.0 newsletter has been released. In fact, I'm going to post a link to that in the chat right now so you can check that out. It's got the update of where we stand. Likewise, the new draft of that zoning 2.0, they're calling it release version 2, is set to come out in 2 days, this coming Friday. So I'm also going to post a link to that update in the chat, which I just did. And that's a great place to go if you have any feedback. The city will be accepting public comment up through April 8th. And as I said, this is a major change to our zoning, so I really encourage everyone to take a look at those updates and voice your comments through the link that I just posted in the chat. Okay, that is it for opening announcements. Let's move on to agenda item number 4, reports from our city departments. Let's start out with Atlanta Fire Department. I know earlier Captain Ratner from Station 19 was with us. Captain?
Hey, good evening, everybody. How you doing tonight?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. So in December, our major talking points, we talked about holiday and fire safety points. As the fire chief spoke, mayor's reelection announcement, he talked about tree safety, decorative light safety, candle safety, home heating safety, and several others. We talked about carbon monoxide safety, holiday cooking reminders, and community care and outreach. And there's a bunch of bullet points, and I just wanted to hit on a couple of these. Tree safety, if you're using real trees, make sure they're freshly watered. A dry tree can easily ignite. Um, keep trees 3 feet away from heat sources like fireplace and heaters. When you're using decorative lighting, check for frayed wires. Only use indoor lighting for indoors and use outdoor lighting only in the outdoor setting. When you're using a candle, use them in stable, non-flammable surfaces. When you're using heaters, keep them 3 feet away from anything that can burn. And then when you're using carbon monoxide detectors, if you do see a carbon monoxide go off, immediately leave your home. Just remember carbon monoxide is odorless, it's colorless and deadly. And make sure you call 911 and we can come out with our monitors and check those out. Two of the key points that we were going to address. One, we had the winter holiday parade here in Virginia Highlands on December the 13th. We got to drive Santa and Mrs. Claus around the neighborhood. One of the key events that we have here in the neighborhood. The kids really enjoy it outside of the Halloween setting. This one is our next major event. It went off without a hitch, very successful. And then I just wanted to remind everybody about our warming center activation. Anytime the temperatures drop, and I know this week, thankfully, we're going to go above 70 during the holiday season for Christmas holiday. It seems like we're going to have a warming trend. But when we do drop back down, just let everybody know warming center activation, temperatures below 35 degrees. It looks like we're opening up Old Adamsville Park Recreation Center, Central Park Recreation Center, and Selena Butler Recreation Centers. So just pass that on to your constituents and let them know. And I'll pass on the road closure for Monroe on Cayuga and Virginia to our station, as that will impede some of our traffic for emergency response. Any questions?
Tom, you're muted.
Thanks, Kay. Sorry about that. Rookie mistake. I should have been better than that. Thank you, Captain. Kay, do you also have a question?
Yeah, just real quick,
Yes,
Captain
ma'am.
Warner, who will be the captain tomorrow? We have a couple of people that would like to stop by with a
For
little
sure.
holiday cheer. Will that be you, or is there somebody else will be on tomorrow?
No, Captain Joette Castronova will be here tomorrow. I'll be
Yes.
getting off in the morning. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you and have a great
And
holiday.
thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, Captain. Well, appreciate you being here. I'm not seeing any other questions, so we appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays, okay?
Likewise, same to you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
moving on. APD. Is there anyone on from Zone 2?
Good evening, Captain Kevin Knapp. I apologize. I got another meeting going on at the same time. But just to give everybody a quick snapshot of what we're looking at right now, the city sits at 9% down in crime for the year. Zone 2 itself is sitting at a little over 14% down for the year. Once again, what's driving our crime is our property crimes, and especially during this time of year. Our holiday plan has been in action since before Thanksgiving, and it's actually been quite effective. We're not seeing any true spikes in the property crime section. We are seeing a little bit more uptick in theft from autos, but that is not coming from our retail spaces. It's really coming from our parking decks that we don't have access to. We are conducting directed patrols in these areas, but unfortunately, without us having access to them, and many of these properties just need to really invest in a courtesy officer. We showed that when they have a courtesy officer, many of these crimes are thwarted. Secondly, we have already performed details with Zone 6. Now we are in support of GDOT, in support of Norfolk Southern, in support of CSX railroads. We know we have issues with encampments that are along the railways. We have also partnered with MARTA as well. We've already done 3 separate cleanups, and those were large, and the state had to pay for them, and the funding had to be located to be able to afford this. Each one of these cleanups runs anywhere between $12,000 and $15,000. And then obviously, if we have any biohazard material there, we have to call in the fire department or some other entities. These cleanups are going well. We do have some more scheduled right after the holiday, so we're not done. In fact, some of these locations did put up fencing within minutes of us clearing these properties. So we hope we're not going to see anything else. We've done some searches after that, and we have not seen anything pop up since we've had these joint details with Zone 6 and our other private partners. Again, we're dealing with a lot of the larcenies right now with our porch pirates, people getting stuff delivered to the houses, leaving it unattended for several hours. If your neighbors have something out, grab it for them, send them a text, anything like, hey, I've got your package. We are seeing, we've got Amazon that does hire part-time drivers during this time of year, and some of them do take the job simply for the ability to be around electronics and other expensive properties to steal. So other than that, if there's any questions for me.
Any questions for Captain Knapp?
Thank you all and enjoy your holiday.
All right. Thank you, Captain. Appreciate you being here. Okay. How about Zone 6, APD Zone 6?
Lieutenant Carroll, Zone 6. I hope everybody's doing well.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Same to you. What would you like
Yes,
to
sir.
share with us tonight?
In our current 30 days, we have 37 theft from autos. We have 9 motor vehicle thefts and 2 burglaries. For our previous 30 days, we had 31 theft from autos, 11 burglaries, and 8 motor vehicle thefts. So it looks like we are down a little bit. Right now, we have our holiday plan in effect as well. We're having extra patrols hitting our retail areas, and especially I know we always need extra attention around North Highland Avenue and that Virginia Highland, that area up there. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions? Yeah, Kay.
Hi, Lieutenant Carroll. You had 37 theft from vehicles. Was that, I know sometimes if there are multiples that are hit at one location, that ends up as one report where there's actually multiple victims. The reason I ask is that I think it was a week ago, Tuesday, Virginia Highland and Morningside both got hit pretty heavy. I know there were 7 cars just on my street.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm curious about the number, but also if you've made any headway. I had heard through the grapevine that one of our more clever suspects dropped his phone and left it behind in one of the cars he broke into. So I was kind of hoping you might have some information about making some progress on that case.
Yes, ma'am. We have made some, I'm not sure about that particular case, but we have made some theft from auto arrest, so I'm pretty pleased about that.
Great.
Depending on, whether we combine one report with another, it all depends on the proximity, the time frame. If it was the same perpetrators, if it turns out to be the same perpetrators, then we will combine some of them.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Lieutenant. Any other questions for the Lieutenant?
No questions, but I do have something to add when able, once Lieutenant Carroll is completed.
All right. Ms. Holland, you want to add something?
Yes, absolutely. I am actually one of the auxiliary components to the Zone 6 precinct. I wanted to do a small presentation for my services as well.
Okay, now's a great time.
Perfect. Perfect. Just making sure. As I mentioned, my name is Brittany Holland. I work with the Atlanta Victims Assistance. We're a partnership agency that is tasked with Atlanta Police Department. I am actually the advocate that sits amongst Zone 4 and Zone 6. I just wanted to provide my information, which is already in the chat, and give a brief description of services. I know that person-on-person crime does tend to, unfortunately, tip up in a domestic sense during the holidays. I want to make sure if there's ever a contact that needs to be made, that my information is in hand. That said, I work any person-on-person cases that are of a nondescript type. kidnapping, simple assault, aggravated assault. Because we're partnered directly with APD, will pull our cases and contact our victims directly. They don't have to contact us for services, but I like to come to these meetings, make sure that our agencies are known, and that if there's anybody that doesn't report a crime, then obviously I won't have the information to contact you, but you can still reach out to us. We'll validate the experience a different way, and you can still access services to recover from that event. Some of our day-to-day looks like partnering with the state program for medical compensation for any injuries that are sustained during an incident, connecting with other resources, investigators that may be needed to get that case resolved, or explaining any legal proceedings that are going to happen. And then also, I may mediate or something along those lines if an officer requests it on scene.
Very good. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Appreciate your efforts and for being here. You said you've put your contact information in the chat.
Absolutely. It has the website for my agency as well. So if there are any questions about services, they can be found there.
Great. Are there any questions for, oh, Rich, you got a question for, is it Officer Howland? Is that the correct salutation?
I'm a civilian, so Miss
Oh,
Holland.
okay. Rich, do you have a question?
Yes. Is there a similar person for Zone 2?
Yes, absolutely. That would be Miss Janae Beavers. She's not on at this time.
Okay, so you don't have her contact information. Can you put in the
I'm the
chat?
supervisor of the entire team. So if you reach out to me, I can get you in contact with her, or I can also post that information for her
Great.
here.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Excellent. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm going to include Miss Beavers' information in the chat before I leave, and then I will be out. Thank you so much for the time.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice night. Okay, why don't we move on to APD code enforcement? I think I saw Officer Williams with us. Officer Williams with code enforcement? Officer Williams, you're muted.
I'm
There
here.
you go.
Am I still muted?
No, we can hear you now.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hello. What would you like to share with us tonight?
Okay. Uh, this week I have some good news. A lot of our cases are down. We are now currently at 37 property maintenance cases and actually one highly hazardous case. So this has been a good streak in December.
Excellent. That's
Yes,
good. That's a good trend. We like to
yes.
see that.
Yes, it is. Yes, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Are there any questions for Officer Williams? Any code enforcement questions? Concerns? All right. Looks like everybody's focused on getting to the holidays. So we appreciate you being here, Officer Williams. Have a
Okay,
good
happy
one.
holidays, everyone. Thank you. Good night.
Same to you. Okay, how about 311? Is Tamika Clark Merriweather with us? Or anyone for 311? I'm not seeing Tamika in the chat and the participant list. She's always a regular. Okay, that's the first. We will move on. How about Public Works Code Enforcement?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Happy holidays to you all. This is Sweet Officer Spurlock here with the Department of Public Works. This month for December, of course, you know it is holiday season, so you will be experiencing 2 delays in service before we meet again for the month of January. On December the 25th, of course, it is Christmas, so we will have a delay in service for that day. And as well, on January the 1st, New Year's Day, we will also have a delay in service. So if you have any missed collections or anything like that, please make sure that you call ATL 311 within 3 days. If you wait within 3 days, they may push your request back into the week after. Secondly, I know it was a hot button issue last time we met. The collections crew is still abiding by that you please do not put your yard trimmings in the recycling bin. it exceeds the weight limit that the ordinance states. So please make sure that you're placing your yard trimmings in brown paper bags or in on the streets in an orderly fashion if they can be. Thirdly, finally, in the city of Atlanta, illegal dumping is a crime. So if you see something, say something. Call ATL 311. Make sure that you're giving the address of the violation and not your home address. And I will open the floor for any questions or comments at this time.
All right, any questions for Officer Spurlock with Public Works Code Enforcement? No, Officer, I have a follow-up. I know last week we had one of our members, Mr. I believe it was Dwayne Brown, was talking about the intersection of Lennox Road and Buford Highway. Did you get a chance to take a look at that intersection?
Yes, so me and Mr. Brown have been in constant communication about that intersection. If you know anything about that intersection, it is a very busy intersection, so the city is very much aware of the beautification of that intersection.
Okay.
In my professional opinion, when I went over there, I didn't see any sweet violations. But I am still in the process of trying to escalate some of his personal concerns that he have of the area to beautify it even the more. But it is a matter. I went over there maybe I think a day or two after, and we walked around maybe about a half a mile radius of the block, and I took pictures and everything of the situation. It wasn't anything that was, spare of the moment that it looks egregious,
Yeah.
but we are actively working on that as well.
All right. We really appreciate your efforts with that. I know Mr. Brown was fairly passionate last month, so appreciate your follow through and your support with him on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other questions for Public Works Code Enforcement, Officer Spurlock? All right. Well, thanks for being here. Have a great holiday.
Same to you, Tom.
All righty. How about Parks and Rec? Anyone on from Parks and Rec? No? All right. What about Watershed Management? Perhaps Aisha Brown from Watershed Management? No? All right. All right. How about City Solicitor's Office? Is Janelle Bowles with us?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Miss Bowles. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope everyone is doing well and ready for the holidays.
We
I'm
are.
Janelle Bowles. I'm a senior solicitor with the City of Atlanta Solicitor's Office, and I'm here if you have any questions. You all know how to find me, but I'll put my information in the chat. And happy holidays.
Great, thank you. I know, just kind of as a PSA, I know last month you talked about some of the hearings that were going on for the properties at La Vista and Cheshire, the Happy Hermans, and a couple other adjacent properties. And I think at that point, Rich, I think you mentioned that the judge had ordered January 7th the property owner was to return, right? Is
That's
that
correct. January 7th, 11 o'clock in was it courtroom C, I believe, in the courts, the city courts on Garnett Street.
great? So I think last month
Courtroom
Marla and
5C.
Rich were there.
Courtroom 5C.
5C.
Oh, thank you. So again, I think we really appreciate everybody that can support that. If you can make it out on January 7th. Yeah, Marla, do you have something to add?
Oh, I think one of the buildings was ordered to be demolished yesterday. I think that was the date. It's not, but I think in the court order, one of them is supposed to be demoed yesterday, December 16th, and then another one coming up in a couple weeks. So
Okay.
we'll just keep an eye on it.
With some of those buildings, it's hard to tell if they've been demolished or not. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's support. And again, January 7th looks like a pivotal date to continue to show the community's involvement. So, Ms. Bowles, I appreciate you being here
No worries.
and have a happy holiday.
Same to you.
Okay. Mr. Mitchell, what would you like to tell us about the Office of Ombuds?
Well, I have my usual line to say to everyone. Again, my name is Clyde Mitchell. I'm your neighborhood relationship manager in the Office of the Ombuds of Neighborhoods. My contact information is in the chat. Please be in touch if I can assist you. We can surface concerns to all departments. We help you find information. We mediate discord and explore options to resolve outstanding constituent and neighborhood issues. Basically, meaning if there has been a case number that's been out there floating for a while and should have been done, it's been passed the SLA, and you would like for it to be escalated, and we can find out why, and we can try to get that case escalated for you. I would also like to say to the presidents of the neighborhood associations, our apologies, but we have to reschedule the Community Conversation Fellowship. So I will be reaching back out to all of you to make sure we have new dates or new days, excuse me, that are convenient for you to come together to meet with us to really understand who we are. It's a few that do. These meetings have been very successful in other NPUs, and of course, that being our work increased exponentially. So we're making things happy. So I will be reaching back out to you. Tom, that's all I have.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. The more
I
people
know, I
about you, the
know.
more they're going to use your services.
But it's a good thing.
I agreed. Clyde, do you have any idea? Do you anticipate that being rescheduled within 2025, or you think it's going to move over to January?
We're moving that thing over to January
Okay.
and February at the latest, but we want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity. The information that we had earlier was from early in the year, I think July and August on the best days to meet.
Yeah.
And so things have probably changed. There were some people that did commit to come, but we feel that it's so important. We would like to get the majority of NPU-F out to actually just hear and actually exhale to let us know what's going on.
All right. Well, I will personally try to support that if I can.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Mitchell? All right. Well, thank you for being here, Clyde. Have happy holidays.
The same to you all.
All right. Did I miss any of the City of Atlanta departments? Any departments I missed? All right. I think we caught them all. So let's move on to agenda item number 5, those elected officials. Why don't we start with the council members? Is Alex Wan on for District 6? I'm not seeing Alex in the chat. How about District 2? Or District 5? No? Okay. How about the councils at large? Any of the at-large representatives? Michael Julian Bond or Matt Westmoreland? No? Okay. How about state reps? Stacey Evans for the state level? Fulton County Commissioner? All right. Well, that takes care of elected officials. All right, so moving right along, we are up to agenda item number 6, which is our consent agenda. We've got quite a few items rather, on the consent agenda tonight. So I'll try to briefly summarize everything on there. Okay, so again, as a reminder, when I call your name, if you can turn on your camera and let us know you're here, that's really all we need for the consent agenda at this point. So first up, let's cover our Mayor's Office of Special Events, starting with the PT Oyster Fest. This is going to be at Park Tavern on February 7th. It's a Class E event. We're recommending approval of this. Is Paul Smith with us?
Paul Smith is here.
All righty. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for being here. You can sit tight for now. Okay, next up is the 404 Day at Piedmont Park on April 4th, also a Class E event. We're recommending approval. Is Randall Fox here?
Jennifer Humphrey here for Randall Fox.
All righty, thank you, Ms. Humphrey. Okay, next up, Christ Covenant, Piedmont Park up at the Legacy Fountain. The date on the original agenda is wrong. That should actually be April 5th. Not the 6th. It's a Class E event. I believe Leslie Dickerson could not be here, but she was going to send the director in her place.
I'm Bridget. Yes, I'm here.
All right, Bridget, welcome. Thank you for being here. Next up, Piedmont Park Arts Festival 2026. Also in Park Drive. Let's see. Yeah, 400 Park Drive, August 15th and 16th, Class E event is oh, Randall Fox, you're here for that one as well, I assume, or
Yes, sir. Jennifer for Randall Fox.
Gotcha. Thank you, Jennifer. And last up for the Mayor's Office of Special Events on consent is the AIDS Walk Atlanta Music Festival, Piedmont Park, September 26th. It's a Class D event, but it does qualify for consent. Is Susan, is it pronounced Fiera present?
It's Pereira, and yes, I'm here.
All righty. Welcome, welcome. So again, all of those events, we are recommending approval. Okay, so before we vote, we've got a couple other categories to run through. We have several alcohol licenses that also qualify for the consent agenda, which is somewhat unusual for us. First up is Pyland's Sub and Slice. This is a restaurant right in the heart of Virginia Highlands at Virginia and in North Highland. This is a simple change of agent. Is Derek, is it Eiler?
Tyler, yep, I'm here.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Derek.
Don't smell BT.
Yeah, and if you're not speaking, just if you wouldn't mind keeping your phone muted, we appreciate it. Of course, Derek is one of the original owners. We're simply changing the agent from owner A to owner B. The next four alcohol licenses, I think we can group them all together. They're all Emory, either at the Emory Conference Center Hotel or at the Houston Millhouse Convention Center. Again, these are all simple change of agents, existing establishments, no history of any problems, anything like that. They're all the same agent, which is Michael, is it pronounced Rowling?
Yes, it's rolling. I'm here.
All right, welcome, Michael. And I see some representatives from your attorney is here as well. So you guys are well represented. I would also point out we ran this one by Druid Hills Civic Association. They didn't have any issues or comments or concerns. And likewise for Pyland, Southern Slice, Virginia Highlands did not have any concerns or questions. So we are recommending approval for all five of those simple change of agent alcohol licenses. Okay, moving along, we have two variances that are on our consent agenda. Wiley, do you want to run through those?
Sure thing. Both of them are an MLPA. The first one is B25227. Applicant seeking a variance from the zoning regs to reduce the required front yard setback from 35 feet to 21 feet and to reduce the required north side yard setback from 7 feet to 5.5 feet for constructing new single-family residence. This is at 1413 Lanier Place Northeast. MLP voted to support and approve it. Did site visits, no neighborhood opposition, and MLPA, like I said, voted to support. The next one is V25247, also an MLPA. Applicant seeks a special exception to reduce the minimum off-street parking requirement from 185 parking spaces to 18 spaces. This is at 1907 Piedmont Road. Site visit has been conducted, no neighbor opposition, and again, MLPA voted to approve.
You did it again, Tom.
Sorry, are both of those applicants present?
Yes, sir. Present for V25247.
Yes,
right.
I'm Dave Price here for V25227. I'm the applicant, and David Urbach is also here. He's the owner.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Okay, and again, we're recommending approval for those as well. So, is there anyone here who is in opposition to any of the recommendations, which are all for approval of the aforementioned items on the consent agenda? Anyone that opposes approval of the items on consent? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Is there anyone here who wants to have an application removed from the consent agenda so we can discuss it at its regular place on the agenda? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands being raised. So may I have a motion to approve the recommendations on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Wiley. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Thank you, Kay. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda recommendation, please use that raise your hand feature under the React tab. All those in favor of approving the items on the consent agenda, which are all recommendation of approvals. Okay, it looks like
6, 8, 10.
What do we got?
11.
11, Wiley. All right, I'm lowering all your hands. Anyone opposed? I don't expect so because no one objected. If you're opposed, raise your hand. All right, so by a vote of 11-0, the motion to approve the consent agenda recommendation passes. All right, so if you were here and we covered you successfully, yeah, Mr. Price, do you have a question? Oh, okay, great. So if you were here, we covered you on the consent agenda. We appreciate you being here. You're welcome to stay to the end of the meeting, but you're also welcome to leave as well. So thank you for being here. For the rest of the applications, sit tight. We're going to get to you right now under agenda item number 7, matters for voting.
Thank you.
All right, welcome. So let's start with the Mayor's Office of Special Events. First up is Virginia Highland Mardi Gras Festival. Again, that's going to be essentially at the heart of Virginia and Highland at 1026 and a half North Highland Avenue. It's on February 7th. This is a new event, one-day event, considered Class D. I think this is being put on by Premier Events and Virginia with a conjunction of Virginia Highlands. So is it Caitlin Norrell present?
Hi. Yes, Caitlin Norrell, and then Katie with the Virginia Highlands District is on here too, so she might chime in.
Welcome.
But yeah, we are super excited for this new event. As you said, it's coming up soon on February 7th. We are kicking it off with a pre-party, followed by a parade, and then the actual festival. So the pre-party is just a small little event on Arcadia Street. We estimate between 75 and 100 people there. And that is where the parade route starts. So to kind of kick everything off, the parade will take place at noon and go down Virginia Avenue from Arcadia, ending at North Highland. They'll cross over that little intersection to disband and everything, but that is all that the parade route will be. And then the actual festival will be in the parking lot behind Fontaine's. We'll have some music, a live band, a couple food trucks, and then some drinks from Moe's and Joe's. So it's going to be a great time. We're super excited. The parade, obviously, all Mardi Gras themed, so it's going to be great.
So if Moe's and Joe's is providing the drinks, I assume it's going to be PBR all the way around.
Correct. Absolutely.
I've heard they drink that there. I wouldn't know
A
firsthand.
little
Of
bit,
course.
yeah.
Of course. All right. So are there any questions for Caitlin or Katie about this new event? Questions, concerns, comments? Yeah, Kay.
Caitlin, do you know how many groups you've had sign up for the parade? I'm just curious.
Yeah, of course. Katie, that might be a better question for you. How many guys have
Right now,
submitted their application?
I was just gonna do a plug for that, Kay. I was like, if anyone would
Perfect.
like to be in the parade, we are hoping, it's our first year, so we're hoping to have somewhere between 15 and 20, so similar size to Winterfest. We're currently at 5 to 6. So if anyone would like to join, any families, crews, any NOLA fans, they seem to be coming out of the woodwork. So if you know anyone, we would love to have you come celebrate at the parade and party. It's going to be a quick party on the 7th, and then on the 8th, there'll be more business for the Super Bowl.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Any other questions or concerns? All right. Well, if not seeing any, can I have a motion related to Virginia Highland Mardi Gras?
Move to support.
Thank you, Kay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Wiley. Any discussion on the motion? All right, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor of the Virginia Highland Mardi Gras Festival, please raise your hands. All right, looks like we're leveling. Looks like we're leveling off at 13.
13.
Yeah, I'll lower your hands. Any opposed? Any opposed to Virginia Highland Mardi Gras Fest? All right, I'm not seeing any opposed. So by a count of 13-0, the motion carries. Virginia Highland Mardi Gras is approved. All right,
Awesome.
thank you,
Thank you
ladies,
guys
for
so
being
much.
here.
Thank you guys. I'll stay on.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Have a great holiday. So moving along, we covered PT Oyster Fest on consent, 404 Day on consent, Christ Covenant on consent, which brings us up to the famous Atlanta Dogwood Festival in Piedmont Park. We all know what this one is, April 10th through the 12th. It's a Class A event, 70,000 folks, 3-day, happens every year. Is it Rebecca Carter-Jones with us? Or someone representing Atlanta Dogwood? Rebecca Carter-Jones or anyone representing Atlanta Dogwood? Okay, I'm not hearing anyone or seeing anyone. Can we have a motion to defer?
So moved.
Thank you, Kay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Wiley. Is there anyone opposed? Only looking for people opposed to the motion to defer. If you're opposed, please raise your hand. Seeing none, the motion carries without objection. Okay, let's move on. Next is PT Beats in Piedmont Park Tavern. That is on May 16th and 17th of next year. It's a Class C event, a 2-day. I think it's a new event as well. Is Paul Smith with us?
Paul Smith is with you.
Excellent. Welcome, Mr. Smith. How are you?
Excellent.
Excellent. Good to hear. What would you like to share with us about this event?
Well, first I want to welcome all the newbies. This is going to be our 30th year at this location. And this is a celebration of being in business in Piedmont Park for 30 years. It is going to be an expanded footprint over what our typical festivals are to allow people more room to put down blankets and kind of hang out. It is a DJ driven kind of EDM slash music that is the, I don't know, the spirit of the younger generation. And this is a new festival for us, but we have designed it to have very little impact on the park. We'll have the stage in the park, but the food and beverage operations will be back in the restaurant. The porta potties and support vehicles like trucks to hold beer, etc., will be up in the parking lot. And we don't really anticipate having a lot of the tents and infrastructure, porta potties that so many events that come into Piedmont Park have to build to kind of replicate what we have permanently installed. The setup day, we will not restrict access to the park during setup, other than, the areas that we might be working, installing the stage. People will still be able to use the path and go around the park. We will allow people to use the park up till showtime on the event date on Saturday. And then again on immediately take down the fences and such so people can access the park during our breakdown day, except for in areas that, for safety concerns, like if we were when we're removing the stage. So the only thing really structure wise that we are asking permission to do is build the stage, and the bar and food operations will be back in the restaurant. And that's kind of the overview. Open for questions.
Okay, real quick, Mr. Smith, I just want to confirm you in fact are Paul Smith. I know your window says either Terrell or Terrell Henderson.
Well, Terrell's here with me.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I thought so. Just wanted to make sure for the record.
Yeah, we're just sharing a login and sitting here together.
No problem. The transcript will show you as Terrell. That's why I want to clarify that.
Yeah.
Kate, do you have a question? Or Terrell?
Yeah, I just, you talked about fencing, so obviously it's a gated event. Is this a ticketed event?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
All right, it's gated. Any other questions? Yeah, Debbie.
Hi, Paul and Terrell. I was looking at your site plan for the event, and it looks like a portion of the Beltline is going to be segmented off.
Well, no, I think, we have managed the parking lot that is technically owned by the Beltline, and we are the managers of the parking lot. So the Beltline path will not be impacted at all. It's just that the parking lot, which is what you probably are used to thinking of as the Park Tavern parking lot, is actually Beltline property. So that might be where the confusion is coming in from.
Yeah, so we've always on our applications say yes, part of the belt line. It's not the belt line, it's the fact that the belt line owns that part of the parking lot. So the belt line will be open, it's just our parking lot.
Okay, it's not clear on the site plan that's in your application. Can you provide us with something that's a little bit clearer? Because right now it looks like a significant portion, not a long portion, but a portion of the Beltline path is going to be cut off.
Yep, I will send you all something.
Okay, great. Thank you.
But yeah, no, the path will not be impacted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody on the belt line will have a free path on the belt line to zip around and have a good time on the belt line. So yes, I will get that.
Great, thank you.
All right, appreciate you sending that additional information in. Any other questions for PT Beats? No, okay, I'm not seeing any, so can I have a motion relating to this application?
Move to support.
Thank you, Kay. Is there a second?
Second.
Is that Wiley? Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion to approve, please raise your virtual hands now. Looks like we're leveling off at 9. Nope, 10 rather. Yeah, 10. I will lower your hands. All those, or anyone opposed? Any opposed to PT Beats? Please raise your hand. All right, I'm not seeing any. So by a vote of 10-0, the motion carries. PT Beats is moving on with a recommendation for approval. Thank you for being here tonight, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. We covered Piedmont Park Arts Festival on consent as well as the AIDS Walk. So that concludes our Mayor's Office of Special Events. We covered all the alcohol applications under consent as well. Covered 2 of the variances. There's one more variance that we got some late definition or updates on. Wiley, you want to run us through 248?
You want the whole thing or just what they're planning to do?
Given that we're deferring, I think it's that we can just stick with that.
Okay, so yeah, this particular application has not had a chance apparently to go through the process in the neighborhood, and they have requested and have been allowed to defer this to the February BZA, which means it would be our January NPU meeting. So I guess I can make a motion that we defer it to our January NPU meeting.
I'll
All
second.
right, so Wiley made the motion. Is there a second?
Okay, I'll second.
Thank you, Kay. Any discussion on the motion? Is there anyone that objects to deferring? Only looking for objections to the deferring V25-248. All right, seeing none, the motion carries without objection. 248 is deferred to next month. Okay, we have one more matter for voting. Wiley, it's a zoning ordinance, 2571. Do you want to briefly chair that one?
Sure. So I'll read it and then we can have some discussion. So the ordinance by council members to amend the 1982 Atlanta zoning ordinance as amended, requiring primary pedestrian entrances to provide push button activators where relationship of the building to the street is required and for other purposes. That's the ordinance requested change. So I guess the question is, we had some conversation last time about this and some questions. Is there anybody here from the council or city that can provide some further clarification on the details of this requested change?
I'm here from Councilmember Bond's office. I can't confirm anything, but I can see if the council member can hop in the call right quick and clarify.
He isn't. Yeah, he's not one of the ones listed as a co-sponsor of this, so I'm not sure if he would have any information or not.
Yeah, my recollection from last month, and as Wiley pointed out, yeah, we discussed this last month, and of course, this is the month for voting on it. There was a general sentiment that anything that we can do to make businesses accessible to all of Atlanteans is a good thing. So I think there's a kind of a general feeling of this is a good thing. But there was also a question about the scope, whether this was retroactive to other businesses. I remember last month, Doug Young mentioned, our City of Atlanta planner mentioned that typically these ordinances are written on a going forward basis. So they're not retroactive, if you will. But unless it's specifically stated that, but I don't know that we ever got a clarification whether this particular ordinance was retroactive or not. In other words, is there a grandfather or not? So after last month's meeting, I did raise that as an issue to our NPU coordinator, and he sent that back into the planning team. I think it went all the way up to Miss Holmes. I don't know if we ever got clarification on that. Doug, I know you're with us. Did you ever hear anything back from Kieta Holmes on that one?
Yeah, I was double checking my emails again before I responded, so appreciate the patience. I did not see any written response to the email, but I would stand by the point that if it less than specifically calls for retroactive application, then it is from this point forward. I think the more particular question that you all had, which I also don't have any confirmation of, but just to make sure we set the record right, is that it was not so much as retroactive as it was if there's a renovation, how far does renovation have to go to invoke this requirement, right? At what point do you do enough work that it comes into play? And that's that is more I don't think it's nuanced, but that's typically needs more clarification than just whether it's retroactive, which is a pretty broad way of looking at it.
Sorry, I didn't raise my hand. So two questions. One, of course, concerned that even if, well, particularly if it's retroactive, the financial impact on small businesses that happen to be street facing. I think there are a lot of neighbors that have small stores and shops that would be kind of burdensome. I Googled, it can be between $500 and $8,000 to put a push button door in. And then the other question, of course, is it going to be retroactive and put a burden on? And then finally, is this above and beyond what is already called for in ADA?
The latter point I can't speak to. The former point, on its face, unless it says it's retroactive to existing buildings, then it would not be. The issue that I can't provide too much clarity on is at what point do you, when you're doing renovations, does this get invoked? And that typically does get specified in it. It also could be a standard of a general rule in the zoning ordinance, which I might not be familiar with. So I apologize for that lack of additional information. I'll double check yet again on any more emails or written stuff I might have.
Okay. Kay, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because we've already had this is now the second time we've discussed it on the agenda. And presumably it's moving forward with or without us, but I wonder if we could either draft a letter or have a comment along with our support or lack of support, suggesting that those issues be clarified before the ordinance be passed by council.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly can make those notes, or Doug, you can help me do that on the voting report, and we can enhance it that way to get that feedback in. I guess I could write a letter as well to, I guess Ms. Holmes would be the right person, or if it would be city
Or the council
council.
committee.
Yeah, I can do that as well. But again, the question would be then our vote tonight, are we voting in favor of it? Or I mean, I'm not sure the timing of this thing to know if it can even be, well, it looks like the public hearing is going to be January 8th on this or the 15th. So if we defer it, it sounds like the vote by city council will occur before our next meeting, is what I'm going to assume. So deferring probably isn't a viable option at this point. So that leaves us to, I guess we could approve it and with that, with the conditions, if that's what we're looking to do.
That would be my proposal.
Okay. So Kay, do you want to, I think that makes sense. I don't want to cut off the discussion. I know, as Kay pointed out, we did discuss this last month as well. Are there any other comments, concerns, points anyone who wants to bring up? Okay, I'm not seeing any. So Kay, do you want to formalize that into a motion for us?
Sure. Would move to support the legislation or the ordinance on condition of resolving the question of what level of renovation will trigger this requirement, whether this requirement will be retroactive. What was your third one, Wiley?
Well, it's about the requirement, regardless of size of business and all of that. Sometimes they are relative to the size of a business and where they happen to be. So
the third element would be, and are there any qualifications exceptions based on the size of the business?
Yeah,
great. And again, Kay, I don't mean to. I just want to make sure on the point of retroactive. It sounds like Doug's answered that one for us, or not sure, Doug. You mentioned that usually it'll specifically state whether it's retroactive or not. If it doesn't state it, it's not retroactive. It's going forward. Is that a fair statement?
That's correct.
Okay, well then we can leave that out and just address the other two.
Yeah, and Doug, you didn't see anything in this that suggests, to your point, explicitly saying it is retroactive.
No, and in fact, that would be it'd be unusual enough that I would have to specifically do that because almost all zoning actions, whether in the city or otherwise, are from that point forward, which is how zoning changes typically work, regardless of the subject matter.
Okay. So I think Kay, if you would, I think Kay's proposal is we move for approval with the conditions. There's two conditions. We want clarification on the size of the business that this is applicable to, and then the degree of renovations that would trigger this requirement. Is that fair? Is there a
Sounds good.
is there a second to that I'm giving Kay credit for making the motion. Is there a second to that motion?
Richard is waving his hand at you.
That Richard, we got to teach you to use that voting button, Rich. Come on. You've been around the block a few times. It puts you to the top of my screen. David, are you
I'm charging my mouse. I'm charging my mouse at the same time. So
David, are you
Yeah,
seconding
I just
that, or you
wanted
have
to
a question?
clarify the conditions. I mean, are we putting a condition in there saying that what is the targeting, or are we asking them to tell us what is targeting it, and then are we gonna approve that? I mean, at what percentage are we willing to accept the condition?
It's a valid,
If I
I
can-
understand your point.
If I can speak to that, I mean, frankly, they're going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And
We know
so
that.
I think for me, the conditions are more about asking them to have the conversation to make
Okay.
sure that they're clear about what they're doing, as
So,
opposed to suggesting that it would come back to us and we would have any different recommendation.
okay.
Yeah. So I guess I agree with what Kay is saying.
Yeah, they're gonna do what they want.
Exactly.
I'm
They're kind of
honoring
giving
the
us
snark
notification.
free zone guidelines, so I'm not going to comment further.
I can't
But
avoid
yeah,
snark.
I think we have those questions. I think it's appropriate to pose those as unknowns.
Okay.
And again, I think I want to express, last month we did express that in general, I think we are all for this
Yeah.
type of thing. We just want to understand the scope and the impact a little clearer. That's all. Yeah, Wiley.
Yeah, maybe clarify maybe modify the motion to just ask what would trigger the requirement to meet the new condition. And that would cover a number of things, whether a new building, a renovation at some level. And I wonder even about change of ownership. If there's a building that changes hands, like it does with a liquor license, where they have to all of a sudden bring up the code if somebody bought the building. So I would just say, what actually triggers the requirement to have the button door?
Fair enough. So we can amend that motion to say what are the triggering conditions. We could list some examples that we've discussed here today, namely the size of business, new versus reno, and what degree of renovation would it trigger it. Kay, are you comfortable, given that you made the motion, with that rephrasing?
I accept that friendly amendment.
Rich,
I'm just as friendly.
You're just as friendly. You support that. You're supporting the.
Very good.
All right. And I think we've had adequate discussion phrasing the motion. So all of those in favor of approving the motion as stated, please raise your hands. All right, looks like we're leveling off at 10 ayes. I'm lowering your hands. Any opposed to the motion? Raise your hand if you're opposed, please. Okay, seeing none, the motion carries by a vote of 10-0. We are approving this ordinance with the condition that we are looking for clarification on what circumstances trigger the enactment of this, and we'll list some examples of open issues we have. Okay, folks, I appreciate that. Thank you for your patience with that. That concludes our official matters for voting. We have two more items on the agenda that are for review and comment only. These are both alcohol licenses, but they're pretty straightforward. The first is Trader Joe's. This is at the Midtown Promenade Plaza at 931 Monroe Drive. It's a simple change of agent. It's Again, this is a view and comment because it's not in our NPU. It actually belongs to NPU-E, but it's within 300 feet of our border. So we get the right to comment on this. As I mentioned, simple change of agent. I'm not familiar with any issues at that location. It's an established franchise grocery store, of course. So I would defer, as the alcohol chair, I'd recommend deferring to NPU's decision. Are there any other comments from the general NPU-F body that you would like to be shared with either the LRB or NPU-E? Okay, seeing none, we will defer to NPU-E's decision. The next one, likewise, review and comment. It's another, this one's a restaurant getting a change of agent of their alcohol license. It's the Snooze Eatery, actually right next door to the Trader Joe's, also in the Midtown Promenade at 931 Monroe. Likewise, also NPU-E's territory. Again, Snooze is a franchise location. I'm not familiar with any alcohol violations there. Simple change of agent. So personally, I don't have any issues with this. Let me open it up to the floor. Are there anyone else in the NPU body that has concerns over this change of agent? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands. So again, we will defer to NPU-E's decision. Okay, folks, that concludes our matters for review and comment. Moving on, agenda item 8 is presentations. I don't believe we have any. So we will move on to agenda item number 9, the planner's report. Doug, do you have anything you'd like to share with us tonight?
I do. Just a minute here. There we go. Just one quick announcement. Let me pull up my notes here. All right. So just wanted to remind folks that we are opening up. Well, we had an information session on December 3rd because of the NPU scheduling regarding the community impact grant information session. So the 2026 grant application cycle is open. That would have been an opportunity for chairs and other interested folks and designated project managers to learn more about the program. But if you follow the link that I'll put in the chat, you'll get all the information you need about the upcoming community impact grant information session and application process, which is now, I believe, is open. So that is my only announcement for tonight.
Excellent. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that. Any other questions for Doug? All right, Doug, thanks for everything you do for the NPU.
Sure.
Okay, with that, we will move on to agenda item number 10, our neighborhood and committee reports. Let's start with our friends over in Linridge Martin Manor.
We had a very successful Christmas gathering on December 6th. A little chilly, but about 100 people were there. We had a wonderful time. Nothing planned yet until it gets a little bit warmer.
All right. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate that. How about Piedmont Heights?
This is Susan, Piedmont Heights. Piedmont Heights is still in the midst of our Shop Small Buy Local campaign, which includes Linridge Martin Manor, Morningside, as well as Piedmont Heights. And that's really about it right now.
All right. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate that. All right, moving along. Morningside Lenox Park.
Hi, I just want to thank the Piedmont Heights Alliance for organizing a Cheshire Bridge cleanup last month, and also thank Susan for organizing the firefighter dinner at Station 29 for Thanksgiving. And also, we'll shout out Virginia Highlands District and Civic Association for a successful Winterfest and tour of homes. I know a bunch of our neighbors went and volunteered with that too. So it's a season of thanks.
a lot of foot traffic around the Highlands on tour homes, so it looked like it was a successful one.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Thank you, Marla. Appreciate that. So I know Virginia Highlands, I know Kevin is not with us tonight, but I believe Adam is the new president. Congratulations,
Yes,
Adam.
thank you. Yes, so kind of off the back, so that we're saying the tour homes, that's really a big one for us. This was we broke every record in the 50-year tour history with every metric. So phenomenal time. The neighbors loved it, and again, thanks to Morningside, all the volunteers, all the homeowners. It was a huge effort to get this thing going. I'm sure you've all seen on North Highland. You've been to the area. The schools involved, decorating all the restaurants. VHD was hugely, working with us. So it was a great event all around. And we in terms of numbers, we just shy of over $100,000 for the tour, which is huge. Crushes everything we've ever done. So sets us up for great success for the new year. Which again, everything goes back to the community. We've already done a couple extra school grants here towards the end of the year, try to get out. So we've got some other things planned to really try to do some things that have been on the back burner for a while. So that's huge for us.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Big
Yeah,
event.
no, the team did great. And the other one, tomorrow night, actually, in town, Shabbat is planning to do a menorah lighting at North Highland Park. So it's, those who are not familiar, it's right at the intersection of St. Charles Avenue and North Highland. If the weather goes bad, that looks like rain, so they're going to make a call tomorrow morning. If they can't do it in the park, they're going to do it, in the in-town Shabbat synagogue, right along on the belt line there. Basically, St. Charles dead ends into it at Ponce Place. Yeah, so encourage everybody to, if they can get out, let's check it out.
Excellent. Excellent.
All
Good.
right.
And congratulations, Adam, on your new role as president of Virginia Highlands Civic Association.
Thank you.
All right. Moving along. Is there anyone on that wants to talk about Edmund Park or Emory CDC, Druid Hills?
Hey, Tom, I'll be glad to take it for Emory. Good to see you.
Sure. Yeah, go for it, David.
So I was actually on for the change of agent with the liquor licenses. Thank you for your support of that. But I haven't been on for a bit, and I wanted to give an update that Emory has purchased 2 properties recently that are related to the move of children's health care out to North Druid Hills Road in 85. So you may have read that last month, Emory purchased the former Eggleston Hospital, which is the former Choa Hospital on Clifton Road.
Yeah.
And we will be, we're in the process of demolishing that. It was not suitable for any use that we could identify. We do not know what we're going to put there, but we'll be doing master planning, long-term planning to see what would be suitable for that. We surround that property, so we were a logical buyer. And then secondly, more recently, we purchased the former Atlanta Ronald McDonald House. That's on Gatewood Drive. So Gatewood Drive is the road that comes in across from the Rollins School of Public Health off of Clifton Road. And when Children's Healthcare moved to their new location, the Ronald McDonald Foundation built a much larger and nicer Ronald McDonald House out near the new hospital, and we purchased the property that was the old Ronald McDonald House. That I do know what we're going to use for. That's the Emory Guest House, and that'll be used for long-term recovery and treatment for patients who are going through either oncology treatment or transplant treatment.
Excellent. Excellent. Sounds like a good cause. Well, David, appreciate that. Appreciate you being here and everything you do for NPU. Yeah, Rich, you have a question?
Yeah, David, could you give us an update on the graduate student housing at the corner of Haygood and North Decatur? I know phase 1 is complete, I guess.
Yep. Phase 1 is complete. We're in our second year of leasing phase 1. It's around 97, 98% lease. So that's, we think, a success. Phase 2 started construction last summer, back in August. Phase 2 is in units and beds, smaller than phase 1. It's more in from the community. It wraps around the parking deck that was built with phase 1. And it should, if everything goes well, be finished in the summer of 2027.
Excellent.
You know, that came through the NPU and it was a little controversial, but y'all have done a great job there.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Excellent. And David, I'm sorry I couldn't make your Christmas meeting, but I was thinking about you at the pool in Palm Springs.
I
So
bet you were, Tom, and there were a few on the Zoom who were there. So we'll catch you next year.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, thanks for being here. Okay, so that's it for our neighborhoods. How about our committee chairs? Rich, you have anything? Parks, trees,
Yeah,
and environment?
if you have sensitive plants and it's going to be real cold, bring them in or cover them. If you have plants outside that are, you think that may withstand the cold, the UGA research has shown unless we have a week of really frigid weather, as long as they're well mulched, you'll be okay.
Gotcha. Mine are in pots. They don't do so well in the cold.
Bring them in.
All righty. Thank you, sir. Good advice. Good advice. Education, is Jason with us? No? Okay. How about Marla, communications?
Nothing to report.
All righty. You got everybody all registered, signed up, verified?
They're actually, yeah, no one, I don't think anyone registered this month for this month's meeting. So that might be a first.
Yeah, you're just staying on top of it, I think, is what it
No,
is.
I think it was a first.
Okay. Public safety, Kay or Susan?
I don't really have anything public safety related except that Virginia Highland, along with Morningside, and almost all of the neighborhoods of District 6 did make a contribution to buy gift cards for all of the APD Zone 6 officers and staff, and those were delivered last month. And tomorrow, the Virginia Highland Civic Association has funded gift cards for our Fire Station 19 officers, and we will be stopping over tomorrow afternoon to deliver those. So we've done a little holiday cheer for our first responders. And I'll add on to Rich. We have a couple of tree plantings coming up in January with Trees Atlanta in Virginia Highland. We're doing actually 2 plantings this year. So if you're interested, you do not need to know anything to plant trees. When you get there in the morning, we will teach you how to plant a tree, and you can have a living impact on the neighborhood. And just go to treesatlanta.org and you can find where and when that's going to happen and sign up.
Hey, please tell him the hole needs to be bigger than the tree ball.
It
drives
does,
me crazy.
yes.
They drew the hole that big and the ball's that big and they squeeze it in there.
No, none of that.
I know, but trust me, people don't want to dig through Georgia clay more than they have to. All right, thank you, Kay. Appreciate that. How about Susan? Anything to add?
Not really. No, everything's fine here so far. I did forget one thing about Piedmont Heights is that the beginning of December, the Beltline Bridge from the Beltline to the back of Ansley Mall was open, which was a big deal. And Lewis
Nice.
Barbecue is now in force.
Yeah, but I
So
heard Lewis Barbecue is not serving alcohol yet.
Oh, that's a problem, isn't
I
it?
know. I blame it on the NPU-F alcohol chair, personally.
We approved their license, remember?
I very much remember. I was somewhat involved in that, I believe.
Somewhat, yeah. That is
Yeah,
bizarre.
that we approved. I actually had a friend that went there and was yelling at me about it, and I told him we approved it. I think it was in September or August we approved it.
Yeah.
It went through LRB, I think October 4th. So why they don't have a license now is beyond me. I mean, even if the mayor sits on it, he can only sit on it for 60 days before
Is that
LRB
right? Okay.
law becomes law. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, but you can't get a beer there yet if anyone.
Well, you can get a beer down around the corner at Publix and the Ansley Wise wine merchant. So you just bring it with you.
I'm not so sure APD would like that idea of you
Oh,
walking
you
around with
didn't
open
hear it from
container,
me.
but
Okay.
okay. Let the record show that recommendation came from the safety co-chair. Okay, moving on. Wiley, anything you want to throw in? You're good. All right, Katie, APAB. No, you're all set as well. Okay. So, from the chair report, all I'll say is one, I really appreciate everybody's support over the last 6 months. I really didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I tried to fake it. So I really appreciate everybody's understanding and patience as I mumbled through this. And then the second thing, I just want to say, Merry Christmas. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I know everybody's got other plans, busy time of year. We're getting ready for the holidays, but season's greetings, Merry Christmas, and I want to wish everybody a happy and healthy and prosperous new year.
Happy
Okay. All righty. So moving on. Item number 11, old business. The only other old business that I had jotted down was I know last month, Rich, you brought up the that razor ordinance Z2563 that we had voted on 2 months ago. I didn't know if anyone had any updates, if that's been approved or not, or gone through. No. All right. We'll keep that as an open one to keep our eyes on. All right. Any new business? All right. Wow. Record time, folks. I've got 8:34 p.m. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Oh,
Motion
Debbie.
to adjourn.
Wait. Hold that thought. Debbie, do you have something you'd like to add?
I do have a couple things I want to add. First is a reminder to those that received a 2025 Community Impact Grant Award. Our closeout is due on December 31st. I've asked them, the project managers for each of those projects, to provide me with their closeout information, and by December 20th, which is on Saturday. It's a pain in the neck to do the closeout, so please get it to me sooner than later. If you don't get it to me by the 20th, then I'm going to make you ineligible to receive the 2026 award. That information will be sent out to the neighborhoods and the current participants in the CIG plans, and I'll get that out to you probably tomorrow. That was finally released by the city yesterday. The second thing I wanted to say is to thank those NPU-F officers that are rolling off out of their jobs, especially Wiley as zoning chair. He jumped in and did a fantastic job in keeping the information flowing between the neighborhoods and the NPU. To Kay, who has been a absolute stalwart as public safety chair. She may be rolling off, but I know where she lives, so we'll depend on her for her work. And especially to Tom as vice chair. When I asked him to be vice chair, I wasn't expecting him to have to manage the NPU for the entire year. So thank you, Tom, for
It's
stepping
our
up.
pleasure. Our pleasure, Debbie. It's
Indeed.
we're all obviously team sport here. It takes a village, and we wish you the best. And hopefully you're on the mend. And our thoughts and prayers and hearts are with you. So it's a pleasure to serve the community.
Thank you. My chemo
Absolutely.
treatments are over. I will be back next month.
Excellent.
Good.
Well, hopefully you're getting your strength back, and yeah, we can see some of that. We can even let you be a little snarky if you need to. We'll give you an exception.
Good. Thank you.
We'll give you an exception for the snark free zone rule.
Thank you.
Blame it on the chemicals. You've got the perfect excuse.
I know. One tip: NPU chairs usually fake it as well. So you did a great job doing that.
Fake it till you make it, I think, is a popular phrase.
That's right. That and Daniel gets us through the month.
He is a bright spot. Yeah, he is a bright spot. So very good. Well, thank you, Debbie. I didn't mean to cut you off in the chair report, but I don't want to put you on the spot either. So very good. Okay, look, folks, I now have 8:38 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
All right. I heard Katie, very emotional emotion. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Thank you, Wiley. All right, folks. I don't think there's any objection to that motion. If there is, well, then we are adjourned at 8:38.
Wow.
There,
Happy
yeah,
holiday.
we're getting fast. Come on. Well,
Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
I know everyone's got holiday parties to go to, cookies to bake, presents to
Happy
wrap. So
holidays.
you've
Happy
got your evening
holidays.
Good night,
back.
Good
everybody.
night.
Merry
Thanks,
Christmas.
everybody.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
Mom.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Yep.
Take care. Happy New
Happy
Year.
trails.
All right.